Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator news and updates. And we have a bunch of stuff to talk about. Some really cool new tools that are hitting the streets. We have a big update from BeyondATC, couple of aircraft updates, and more. So stick around. If you are interested in any of my tutorial guides for Microsoft Flight Simulator, or simply interested in supporting the channel, consider joining me on Patreon. Patreon subscribers level tier 2 and above have access to all of my guides as well as any future guides that come down the road. Patreon link can be found in the description below. All right, folks, before we get into the public news, I'm going to talk about some private news here. If you guys haven't seen already, little selfish plug-in for me. My Overkill's B60 tutorial guide for Microsoft Flight Simulator has finally released on Patreon, adding to the list of aircraft that are currently available. I believe I have 11 full flight aircraft tutorial guides that look just like this one, fully screenshotted step by step, all the way from cold and dark to startup to cold and dark shutdown at your destination. Everything you need to complete the flight is in the guide itself. You need no external products or anything like that in order to get through them, other than, of course, the aircraft themselves. So if you guys are interested in picking up this guide or any of my other guides, tier 2 subscribers or above, so that's $10 a month, gets you access to all of my guides. It's not $10 per guide, it's $10, and you can download every single one that I have. So if you guys are interested in supporting this or the channel, as you guys saw in the beginning of the intro, check me out on Patreon. We also have new aircraft that are currently being developed as we speak. The next guide is looking at the Learjet, trying to go back to the business jet side of things there, and then possibly the A380 following that. So there you guys go. All right, so next up on the list, we have a real quick update out of any builds in regard to the A350 1000. There was some speculation and commenting thinking that the A350 had been canceled by any builds, and that is just not the case. The team has put out a short teaser that you guys can find on their YouTube channel. It's only about a 20-second teaser showing the aircraft in development. Now, remember that this aircraft is set to be coming to both Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 as well as Flight Simulator 2024. The goal is to have it released by the end or sometime in or near the end of Q1 2025. And it will also come with their new AnyBuild Situation Manager, which is going to be pretty neat as well. So no real other information outside of that. Again, this is going to be the A350 1000 series. This is the largest variant of the A350 in operation today. So super excited for this one. It is another Airbus. And I have been a big advocate on enough of the damn Airbus, but it does make sense coming from Asobo and being an Asobo supporter. Don't get me wrong, it does. But I would definitely like to see more of my Boeings coming out. But this one I'm actually really excited for. It is a large aircraft. This is a powerful aircraft. It is this one would be cool. I would like to have the A350, just like the A380. Super excited when that one launched. I'm just as excited for the A350. It's right up there with the 777. If it not quite as big, if memory serves, but I mean they're comparable. They're big planes. So the larger aircraft are definitely, for me, the more fun ones to fly. You know, it's just something about flying, you know, half of a planet in the sky, you know, with wings is a lot of fun. So that's really all the information they launched on it today. But stay tuned as more information comes out. You know where to find it. Next up, the first of two new tools that I wanted to share with you guys. This is a pretty neat tool. This allows you to, it's another one of those kind of tools that helps you find where to fly, but it also gives you the ability of choosing where you're going to fly from. And it's a website based and it's free, just simple to use. So I figured I'd just do a quick demo. This is called nextsimflight.com, and this is pretty slick. So you can find either your destination or you can find your origin. Now, let's say we're coming out of my hometown. You guys know I like flying out of Tucson. So we're going to come out of Tucson International, select it. Okay, this is pretty slick. Let me make sure my damn head's not in the way. Give me a second here. Wouldn't it be cool just to be able to move over like that? Okay. And then, so you guys can see the METAR information right there. Very easy to determine where you're going. And then you can select the aircraft. So we're going to do like the Piston Bonanza. Let's say we're flying the Duke, which by the way is very rapidly becoming my favorite aircraft. That thing is badass. Anyway, and I'm not just sporting that because of the guide. Like, that's a cool aircraft. It's going to be a toss-up for me between that one and the TBM 850. Anyway, I digress. So has scheduled passenger service. This is if you're doing a commercial flight, A320, 737, something like that, right? Any commercial airport where you wanted to go. Do you want to go to international or regional sized? Let's go to a regional sized. Has passenger service. Again, I don't care about that. Again, we're not doing that kind of thing. So let's see here. Weather conditions. Let's leave it at any. Has VAT sim coverage. You can do that if you want. And then we can do search. And it gives you a whole list of airports that are in the area that you can fly to. And what's really nice about this is, again, it gives you, how many times have you guys said, I want to fly, but I don't know where I want to fly to. I don't know where I want to go. Maybe I don't know where I want to fly from, right? This is a really neat tool that breaks it all down for you. And it's really, really nice the way they have it laid out. It's very easy to see. Like if we wanted to go to Flagstaff, there's your route. This is flying direct, obviously, but it gives you all of the same information. You even have some windage patterns that are happening here based on the information that's up here. Breaks down both airfields. There's your meter that we were just talking about, cloud levels. And then let me bring that up a little bit. It's kind of hard to see. You can see that you have all these other options that are up under here as well that really make it pretty slick. Like you can go straight to MSFS 24 Flight Planner. As you guys know, that's their new tool. Or we can go to, for example, SkyVector and continue our flight planning from here if we wanted. All right, that looks like crap because it's filtered. There you go. So you have a bunch of really neat tools all starting from a single location. And so I wanted to share this. I thought this was really slick. It's definitely a nice tool for those days where you know you want to fly, but you don't know where you want to fly to. And you can change things up quite a bit as far as how you want to navigate it. So for example, let's go back to here. Let's go narrow wide body, right? Or narrow wide body. Jeez. Can you tell it's Friday? All right. Let's see here. Any commercial airport obviously has passenger service. Any weather conditions, we don't care about that. Do a search again. Oh, and you can see that you can set the time of your travel. Okay, so this is actual flight time. So anywhere from 1 to 3 hours, and off you go again. Over here on the right-hand side, you have a bunch of different other search options. You can search who you're wanting to fly with. So if we wanted to fly with Southwest, search routes. And you know what? Oh, here we go. Let's see here. Wow, let's not do that. Gosh, there's a lot of airliners, aren't there? Southwest, there we go. Oops, didn't set it. Fleet composition, there we go. Departure. KTUS, and here we go. KTUS to KLAX gives you the departure time, even in your sim brief. This is pretty cool. So you can actually fly. These are real world flights. Like you can see, 4318, Southwest Airlines 4318 is a flight that flies the 737 MAX 8 from Tucson to Los Angeles, departing at 2:30 in the afternoon. So it's pretty cool, dude. So anyways, like I said, I just wanted to show this tool to you guys. I thought it was pretty slick and very well laid out and easy to use. I really like the UI. I like the simplicity of it. And I like that it has the links to outside party software that you may want to use to continue your planning. So I want to show that to you. So again, that's nextflightsim.com. Sound Immersion has released a preview, and I'll leave a link to this video down in the description below, for the MadDog X, so the MD10. I don't want to share the audio because I don't want to take away from his channel, or their channel, excuse me. So I'm going to leave a link to this down in the description below, but the Sound Immersion preview that they have put out here is absolutely phenomenal. I got distracted by the damn plane. Is phenomenal. Like night and day difference to what the default is. Now, this is just a preview. It has not been released as of yet, but everything from flap actuation, engine sound, roll sound, cabin sound, cockpit sounds, I mean, you name it. I mean, it's an overhaul, man. It is a night and day experience. And it's a really welcome adjustment because some of the things that I always point out, especially, I find it to be more prevalent in VR. I mean, it's prevalent no matter what, but I find it especially in VR. Sound can be such an immersion killer, right? If you have everything right, but the sound is wrong, it's like you go to flip a switch and it makes the sound of a, car honking, when you go to drop your landing gear, right? It'll take you right out of it, right? Yeah, obviously that's an extreme example, but you guys get what I'm talking about. When you're expecting to hear a specific sound, or when when you're processed that certain sounds are missing, these sound enhancements like Sound Immersion does and Boris Audioworks does, they're absolutely phenomenal and very, very welcome. So again, I don't want to take away from it. This is a really cool shot, though. I do like this. I wish that there's something wrong with the engine. The engine needs to move or something. The engine, it is really killing from that scene. I don't know why, but it's driving me crazy. Anyways, they've really done an absolutely fantastic job with this, you guys, and I'm really, really excited. I cannot wait for this one to come out. So again, there will be a link to this down in the description below. Make sure you guys watch it, crank that volume up, and you guys will be really impressed. Anyway, again, no release date as of yet. As soon as it comes out, I will definitely be posting it, probably be giving it a shot. Definitely be giving it a shot. And you guys will see it here as well. So stay tuned for more. Speaking of Boris Audioworks, he also released a preview to his 737 sound improvement. Again, this is just a preview. This one is almost 19 minutes long, so I'll have another link to this one down in the description below, but I will tell you right now, this one was even more shocking than the immersive sound one. The startup sounds that they're showing here, or for the APU, whoa. But it's everything across the board, from switches sounds to shaker sounds, fire alarms, you name it, across the board. Absolutely phenomenal. I cannot wait for this to come up. For those of you who may or may not know, I'm a big 737 fan. I like flying the 737. It's one of my favorite ones to fly. And I think, you know what I think it is? I think it's just because I feel like you're busier in a Boeing flight deck than you are in an Airbus flight deck. I like flying them both. People say I'm a fanboy. I'm really not. I flew the Airbus like exclusively for almost 2 years when Microsoft Flight Simulator first released. I flew it nonstop, like it was constant. It's actually the first guide that I ever did was the fly-by-wire. But I think it sort of goes back to why I like analog gauges over the glass cockpits. I think you're busier. I think you're just busier in the aircraft. So anyway, super excited about this. By the way, is it just me or does this picture look phenomenal? Like, look at that. Like, even the way the camera's moving, like, I want to get in touch with him and be like, what are your settings? Because, damn. Anyways, side note. So, as more information comes out on this, I will be letting you guys know about this as well. I will 150,000% be grabbing this one. This is, I mean, it looks gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. All right, you can tell what I'm looking at. Sounds gorgeous, too. But, yeah, that was the other thing, dude. The pack flows sound a lot better, too. Anyways. So, a link to this one will be down in the description as well for you guys to watch. Make sure that you give his videos a like and a subscribe. Finally, another really cool tool. And this is primarily just for METAR. That's all this is. But it works really, really well. And it's got a really slick UI. And this is done by a very young man who is doing a fantastic job in developing a tool for Microsoft Flight Simulator. And I mean a young man. Who I'm blown away by the work that he's done. He actually reached out to me, funny enough, this morning, and then I saw this, it was day before yesterday, and I didn't even realize it was his. But anyway, it's just a METAR tool, okay? But it works really, really slick. It's got a very nice UI, gives you clear identifiers, as you guys can see there, of both wind direction and speed and its reference point in comparison. You have the ability on the left-hand side there to change from knots, hectopascals, inches, Celsius to Fahrenheit, and then you get your raw METAR information down there at the bottom. And the thing I like about it is an extremely fast response. It's a completely free tool, you guys. It was started as a passion project from this young man. And so I want you guys to check this out. Let's give him some support. Again, very bright young man. I'm blown away when I heard how old he is. I'm not going to divulge that. That's personal, but you know, if he wants to, he can. But you guys should be very impressed. Okay, I'm going to put it that way. Very impressed that this tool was developed by him. I'm proud of the guy. I'm proud of him. This is amazing. And so I wanted to give him a big shout out. He reached out to me and said, I want your genuine, honest thoughts. And for what it is, it's a METAR tool. It's all it's for. It's a weather tool. It works fantastic. The response time is absolutely just on point. There's no delay. I've searched multiple airports and it went from both regional and commercial or international. And then I also really took some time to think about the UI. And it's the UI that I think that I like the most. The layout is extremely nice. It's a very clean piece of software. So anyways, make sure you guys check this out. There will be a link to this down in the description below to the young man in question. I hope you see this video. Wonderful job. I think it's a fantastic tool. The only thing that I would say that I would like to, I'm going to give you my feedback now here, and I'm also going to do one for you. But I would like to see it as a mobile app as well. I think this would be great if you could use something like this on your iPad. That way it wasn't an independent window running within the inside the sim. So if you can figure out how to transfer this to a web page, you'll be on point. Anyways, that is I suppose you guys should see it, is VisualMetar. And again, there will be a link to this down in the description below. Make sure you help the kid out. All right, so next up is the big one, BeyondATC. They are getting ready here in just a impending release, is the quote unquote, from their Discord, to release the large language model. For those of you who don't know, a large language model basically allows you to communicate much more beyond, see what I did there? The standard voice activation features that we have currently in BeyondATC. So you're actually able to ask certain questions, engage in a little bit of side conversation, but there are limitations. Now, so we're going to go through, first off, the update is getting ready to be released to the experimental version. So for the experimental version, you have to be on the supporters pack. Now, back up. Eventually, everything that hits the experimental pack, if approved, cleaned up, blah, 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 Cap gives it the green light, Cap and team, it will move to the public release. So if you are not on it now, fret not, you will get it, and you'll get the polished version of it. The thing about experimental, what does experimental mean? Okay. All right. Incomplete, right? Okay. So he wants to address, and I'm going to help him out here, address some of the misinformation that has been released about BeyondATC's large language model. We're going to talk about what it can do, what it can't do, the limitations, and why some of those limitations are in place. And I'm going to more or less, in case you guys aren't on BeyondATC's Discord, we're going to be going almost quote for quote here. But I want to make sure that you guys really understand what it's capable of doing. So what does a large language model do? Large language model acts as a logic layer on top of BeyondATC's core engine, enabling powerful new functionality. However, this is the part that he kicks out. It's important to understand that the large language model cannot perform tasks that the core program doesn't already support. And this is what I like that he went into this. And the limitations are really good. So, for example, you can't request different vectors. It is designed to operate on a specific sequence, on a specific flight plan, based on the flight plan that you put into it, right? So you remember, BeyondATC integrates with SimBrief. So SimBrief is where it's getting its flight plan information from. You are essentially telling it how it wants to fly. It's just giving you a different means of communication with the software. So whatever flight plan you put into it, that's what it's going to give you. And it's going to vector you based around that information. Okay. You cannot say unable to a request. Okay. Whatever it tells you to do, it doesn't know how to respond to, no, I can't do that. It's like, well, but you're expecting to do that, right? It's going, again, specific parameters that are based on the flight plan that you put in. So if you say unable, you can't. Okay, it's not going to know what to do with that information. And you can't ask for an alternative instruction to what you've been given. Again, those same rules apply. It's going by layers of rules based on position and the situation that's being put in hand and that has been programmed by your flight plan and your aircraft's location. Okay? All right. Why not? Here we go. And this is, I want to make sure I directly quote from them. I don't want to twist anything out. Because these features aren't supported in the base program. And the large language model doesn't expand the actions available within BeyondATC. Large language model is going to expand communication, not the ability of what it can do, right? It will be able to talk different. It will be able to converse with you different. It will feel more humanly enabled, if you will, feel more natural, right? But it can't change the rules at which it has to operate. It still can only operate and respond within the rules that the base program of BeyondATC has programmed into it. Now, here's the big one. Why are these limitations in place? Again, this one we're going to do quote unquote. As explained in the previous video that Kat put out, these restrictions are intentional to prevent the large language model from issuing nonsensical instructions called hallucinations. Okay, so it's to prevent it from giving you instructions that don't make sense to the situation, right? You don't want that large language model trying to interpret what you're saying and give an instruction that has absolutely no bearing onto what you're doing. For example, if you're on final approach and you're ready and you're waiting for clear for takeoff, and somewhere in the conversation, you don't want BeyondATC thinking that you're wanting to turn back to Phoenix, right? Or maybe even worse so, or do a run around or a go around when you're not requesting one, right? And these are high level examples that are just, I'm running through my mind, but that's what they're avoiding. They want to make sure that the instructions that it gives you are very strict and precise based on the procedures that you are expecting to receive, okay? What can the large language model do? Let's talk about the benefits here. Enhanced understanding of pilot requests. This is where this gets cool, and this is what I'm most excited for. The large language model improves the accuracy of interpreting your requests. Previously, if you phrase something in a way that BeyondATC didn't recognize, you might get a request not understood response from BeyondATC. Instead, it will now always understand and respond to you. Okay, the large language model contextualizes your input and translates it into actions supported by the core engine. And this is, I love his example here. For example, can you hear me? This would trigger a radio check. We're at the runway threshold, ready whenever you are. This would initiate a departure request. Okay. Even if your microphone misinterprets some words, the large language model can infer your intent. Informational queries, you can ask various questions. Can you repeat my squawk code? What's the wind direction at my destination? Is the airport busy right now? Should I expect delays? So those are still really cool pieces of information. I have never even thought of asking a software about delays and if the airport is busy. And this is going to be a real big kicker when you think about it for questions like that, for example, because of their traffic injection. Remember, BeyondATC now supports traffic injection, and that traffic injection can be increased or decreased based on your system performances and how you want to configure it. But so, for example, if you're flying into LAX and it's busy as all hell, it was a storm, or maybe Chicago O'Hare, and, you know, just things are crazy. You know, I remember when we flew out to the Flight Sim Expo in Houston, my daughter and I sat on the taxiway for almost 35 minutes because there was a storm and the ground crew had to clear the ramp. For a while, we had to wait. We had to wait for the storm and the lightning to pass. It was the lightning specific that we had to wait for it to pass before we were allowed to go to the gate. So things like that, you'll be able to ask it, right? Performance impact. The large language model has been designed to have minimal impact on your system. Maintaining optimal performance for your simulator is our top priority, and they have said that from the start. In my opinion, they've nailed it. I've never had an issue with performance. I've never seen an issue in performance with them. So at least that's my own personal experience there. We achieve this by using a local large language model that runs on your system, while offloading the heavy lifting to our servers. You don't need to worry about large language model turning your GPU into a thermonuclear device whenever you ask it for, or what time it is. So this is super cool stuff. All right, so you guys understand the basis of what it can do and what it can't do. It can operate within the limitations of the base software, which, to basically keep it simple, is what is your flight plan? Don't try to deviate from that flight plan. You're the one who told it where it needs to go and where you want to wind up in the end. However, you can have a conversation with it and request various pieces of information that you may have missed. For example, if you are writing down your SID, let's say you're getting your clearance, Okay, and even though you wrote it, even though you created it through SimBrief, let's say you're wanting to practice writing it out, whatever. If you want it to repeat the SID, it will be able to repeat your SID. If you're wanting to repeat its previous command, it should be able to repeat your previous command. Things like that. Again, asking about weather and things like that, or how busy is the airport. Those are big things. Being able to say things like, instead of, Southwest 3418, ready for departure, you can just say Southwest 3418, hey, we're ready to go when you are, let's do this. Or, whatever, come up with some bogus thing. But as long as it's verbalized in a way that your intent of, hey, I'm ready to leave is clear, right? You can even say that, Southwest 3418, hey, I'm ready to leave, and I bet it will respond to you. That's not the way we're supposed to do it, but you guys get the gist of what it's trying to do. So, huge update. I'm super excited for this one. As soon as it hits the experimental release, I will definitely be jumping all over this one, and we'll probably do a live stream with it just because I want to make Cap stress, and we'll be making sure that Cap is aware of that live stream, and maybe I can coax him into joining us. Okay, so keep an eye out for that as well. The second you guys see, BeyondATC live stream, that's going to be one where it's very likely I'm going to be pestering Cap, the lead developer, about joining in, so that way you guys can all hound him and talk a bunch of crap and pick on him. Okay, love you, Cap. Anyways, as always, guys, that's going to wrap up today's news. I hope you found this video useful and at the very least entertaining. There's some really cool stuff coming out. Aircraft on its way, new tools out. Those sound immersion packs are super exciting, and BeyondATC, this is absolutely phenomenal. I can't wait to get my hands on it. This is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be fun to engage it. And you guys know me, I intentionally try to break things and trip things up. So you guys should enjoy that, because I'm going to be asking it questions probably that Cap specifically said here not to ask it, because it's me, right? Anyway, as always, guys, stay safe and healthy. I'll see you in the next one.